In Belgium, standard professional income can face tax rates climbing as high as 50%. But if your work qualifies for copyright protection, that income falls under a completely different bracket, a flat 15% withholding tax. It looks incredibly appealing on paper. Because of that, a lot of creators assume they can just add a copyright line to their invoices and instantly pocket the difference. But treating this like a simple accounting shortcut is a very quick way to trigger an audit. Here is the core problem. Claiming copyright income sits at the intersection of two totally separate worlds. On one side, you have civil law, which deals with rights, originality, and contracts. On the other, you have tax law, which only cares about ledgers, limits, and invoices. And these two systems do not naturally speak the same language. Look at the slide from a legal presentation outlining a typical audit. Beyond basic arithmetic, tax authorities probe 6 specific axes of control. They scrutinize the work's substance, the underlying contract, the pricing, and whether the work is actually being exploited. If your legal foundation and your financial records disagree on even one point, the structure collapses. Surviving that level of scrutiny means you cannot do this alone. Securing that 15% rate requires a synchronized team of 3 specific professionals and a strict set of habits that start on day 1. The first node in this system is you, the author. You are not a passive spectator waiting for your accountant to do the math. You are the source of the raw material. Your job is to develop what we call the documentary reflex. This means capturing hard proof that your work actually exists and is original. You need to save your source files, track your version histories, and timestamp your drafts. You have to do this constantly, starting before you ever send a bill. Once you have that raw material, you hand it off to the second node, the lawyer. Their entire focus is on the civil law side of the equation. They translate raw creativity into legal certainty. The lawyer qualifies the work, documenting its originality and establishing a clear chain of rights so that every transfer is legally defensible. But notice the dependency here. If you failed to document your drafts and source code, the lawyer has nothing to qualify. Without your raw evidence, they have no foundation to build a defense if an auditor comes knocking. That brings us to the third node, the accountant or tax advisor. Their domain is strictly financial execution. Their job is to take the civil rights the lawyer just established and translate them into your financial ledger. They are the ones who calculate the exact 15% withholding tax and ensure you stay under the strict legal revenue caps. But an accountant cannot legally apply that 15% rate out of thin air. They need the lawyer's qualification opinion to prove the income actually comes from a valid copyright. And as we saw, the lawyer can't draft that opinion unless the author provides the documentary proof of their original work. And finally, the author needs the accountant to accurately calculate the limits, withhold the tax, and actually execute the savings on the tax return. If an accountant books copyright income without talking to the lawyer, or a lawyer drafts a contract with a fee structure the accountant can't match, this closed loop breaks. The 15% tax advantage only survives when all 3 points of this triangle communicate and align perfectly. This 3-part system builds an airtight, cohesive paper trail that repels audits for years. In a fully secured setup, the lawyer's qualification opinion, the terms of the commercial contract, and the numbers on the accountant's ledger all tell the exact same story. There are no contradictions. Tax inspectors specifically hunt for the gaps created when the civil and financial sides of your business ignore each other. If your invoice says one thing and your contract says another, they will dismantle the claim. Protecting this income starts entirely with you. Build your documentary reflex today. Save your versions and timestamp your work before you ever hire a lawyer or send an invoice. Keep in mind, this video provides general educational information about the Belgian copyright tax regime and does not constitute personalized legal or tax advice. Always consult a certified professional for your specific situation. Structural security comes from a unified team working in lockstep from the very first invoice.